In this video, I want to talk about how to cure shiny object syndrome. Now, the purpose behind this video is because I have dealt with this time and time again where I'll start, you know, making money in a specific way. I'll, start a business and then I'll quit the business. I'll start making content and then I'll quit making content because I get shiny object syndrome. And this is something that I've dealt with for years. But recently, I've been able to overcome it. 100% overcame it. A couple years back, I went all in on appointment setting. I decided this is it. This is what I want to do. I went all in on the skill. I started making money. And, you know, I guess as they say, the rest is kind of history. But the reason I wanted to make this is because I know a lot of people out there struggle with this. And I think what it comes down to is beliefs. It's your belief that's making you jump from thing to thing. Right now, first let's define what is shiny object syndrome in case you're unclear on what it is. It's basically when you start doing one thing, but then something else seems more shiny, seems more attractive, so you jump to that. So, an example is, let's say you wanted to make money online, so you started, you know, in affiliate marketing, and then you started watching content on YouTube and saw, oh wow, there's something called high ticket sales. Let me get into high ticket appointment setting or high ticket closing. And then you started doing that and you started watching YouTube videos on that, and then you decide, oh wait, you know what? There's something called e-commerce. Let me jump into e-com. So then you start e-com, and slowly but surely over time, what ends up happening is, instead of making progress, instead of making money, you keep starting from zero. You learn a little bit about an industry, and then you jump into a new industry and start back from zero. And what you need to realize is this is a byproduct of a lack of belief. And what I mean by that is, the reason you keep jumping from thing to thing in any aspect of your life, whether it's making money, whether it's fitness, whether it's jumping from diet plan to diet plan, it's a lack of belief that you can actually achieve the end result. What you need to understand is there is money being made in all industries, in all business models. There are people losing weight in every different way there is out there. Some people are doing keto diet, some people are doing zero sugar diets, some people are eating 4 times a day, some people are telling you to not eat at all and eat 1 time a day. It regardless, all of them are getting results. The question is not about results, it's about, can you stick to one thing long enough to see the results? I'll give you my example when it comes to the gym. I was inconsistent when it came to the gym, so I never saw results. But then I decided, let me lock in for just 90 days. And I'm going to go to the gym for 90 days straight. And I did this in 2024. And the results I saw in 90 days were crazy. I was like, wow, okay, my shoulders, I'm seeing definition. My arms, I'm seeing definition. Suddenly, I was like, wow, I want to keep doing this. I started seeing my belly fat, losing it. Why? Because when you stick to one thing long enough and you start making progress, you start seeing results, and results gets rid of the lack of belief in the process of what you're doing, and then creates and cements confidence that if you keep doing this, that you will see further success and results. So the way to actually cure shiny object syndrome is by blocking those things out. For example, the next time you feel like, I need to change my diet plan, or the next time you think, I need to change the method of how I'm trying to make money online, or in any regard of life, if you're like, I need to change X thing, instead of doing X, I'm going to do Y. just ask yourself, have you done X long enough? Have you stuck to X long enough for you to actually be able to say, okay, this thing isn't working? For example, I ask myself, have I done X thing long enough for me to say, okay, this thing isn't making me money anymore? For example, my first agency was, you know, I wouldn't say it was like super successful and I made millions of dollars, but it was like relatively successful. I made money. Did I make millions? No. Was I like, was I making like a lot of money and just, blowing, you know, blowing that money and, no, it wasn't like the craziest experience ever. I'm not gonna, overplay my first agency. It was run by me and two of my friends, so we were three of us, and we did relatively good. We were students, right, in uni, and we were just kind of running it together. So, was it like ultra successful? The wealthy type, 7 figures a year type agency? No, it was like doing normal numbers, right? But relative to the fact that we were in university and we were college friends, it was, we did a pretty good job. However, after that agency, when I started an agency on my own, it was highly unsuccessful. And I did it for 6 months, and then I realized this is just a waste of time. 6 months, good sample size. I'm wasting my time. This isn't getting me anywhere. Let me jump ship. Why? Because I realized this is just not working. I'm just in the limbo of doing work, but that work isn't getting me anywhere, and I'm staying broke. So I moved on to the next thing, which was appointment setting. And then it's been like, what, 4 or 5 years since I made that decision, And so, and then even in between going all in on appointment setting, I tried doing an agency while I was doing high ticket sales, and I failed again. And then I realized, okay, you know what? I'm just going to stick to high ticket sales because, you keep trying things in between, but never get rid of the main thing. You have to stick to one thing long enough, see it out in the long term, and see, does this thing work? Because everything works, but the question is, it's a lack of belief of, do I really believe that I can achieve the outcome in this specific thing? So if you want to cure shiny object syndrome, it's just sticking to one thing and promising yourself. It's like, can I give myself 90 days and then I'll reassess whether or not this thing is working or not? Right? For example, I'll give you an example, like a real life example. I don't know when you're going to watch this video, but I've made a commitment for the next 90 days or so. I'm going to go all in on content and uploading regularly on YouTube. Regularly doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to upload a video every single day for the next 90 days. But what it means is, at least for the next 90 days, relative to the last 90 days, I'm going to upload pretty consistently. I'm going to try to upload every day, every 2-3 days, you know, and see this out over the course of the next 90 days and see, okay, 90 days from now, where am I standing? Am I standing in a good place? That's it. So what I would suggest is make a commitment to yourself for X number of days, whether it's 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, 3 months, it doesn't matter. The number doesn't necessarily matter. What really matters is relative to the thing that you're having a hard time committing to. So for example, if it's making money online, stick to one method for the next 3 to 6 months, and then after 3 to 6 months, do an assessment. Where am I standing? How do I feel about this thing? Do I want to continue doing it, or am I going to pull the plug on it now? So relative to that thing, how long do you believe that you should commit to that thing? Commit to it for a period of time, and then analyze after that period of time is done. Now sit down and analyze, should I continue doing it or should I pull the plug? What are my results after 90 days, after 60 days, after 30 days? Whatever that commitment is. Again, for me, it's always been 90 days. With the gym, it was 90 days. With content now, it's 90 days. I don't know what it is about 90 days, but 3 months always feels like a good time for me to commit to something. It's the same way that I run my mentorship and coaching program, right? So my mentorship is a 90-day program. I think 3 months is enough for someone to land a appointment setting role. So that's how I, run my appointment setting mentorship. It's like in 90 days, I help you land a role, right? I'll teach you appointment setting. I'll teach you how to land a role, and I'll help you land a role where you can make $3,000 or more per month. Again, 3 months is enough. That's just my opinion. 3 months is enough for you to at least see some type of result where you're like, okay, I'll continue doing this, or no, let's pull the plug. Or maybe in 90 days, you see some results, and you're like, okay, I've seen enough for me to believe that I should keep doing this thing. But I'm doing something wrong. So let me figure out what I'm doing wrong, and let's try to fix that thing. Because with a lot of people, the other thing that you need to reconsider is maybe you're doing something wrong. That's another thing, right? So for a long time, I was doing high ticket sales, but I was having a hard time landing a role. I was having a hard time, finding jobs. But then I invested into a program. I invested in a coaching program, and that coaching program helped me a lot because it gave me a layer of credibility. I got into circles I wasn't in. I got opportunities I didn't have. It helped build my resume, and then it changed things for me. Now, I chose a different trajectory because I bought a high ticket closing program, and then I went all in on appointment setting, which is, quite interesting. But it's just to show you that sometimes it's not even the fact that the vehicle that you're in is wrong. It's actually the fact that the vehicle that you're using and the way you're actually using the vehicle is wrong. So, for example, sales creates a lot of millionaires over time. If you look at how many people come from sales and then become millionaires, it's crazy. The stats are crazy. But the question is, are you doing the right things within the vehicle of sales to actually be amongst those people that are becoming millionaires, building sales teams and doing great things from within sales? And again, sales is just an example here. So, for example, the keto diet helps people lose weight. But then within the keto diet, there's probably like 5 nuances that you probably never thought of. But an expert in the keto diet or an expert dietitian knows those 5, 6, 7 nuances that you never thought of. But now because you actually paid a professional, they laid it out in front of you. That's why coaching exists. That's why mentorships exist, because you pay the consultant, you pay the coach, you pay the mentor, and they basically fix the problem and they help you discover the 6, 5, 7, 10. Again, these are all arbitrary numbers, but they help you find those 5 to 10 nuances that you never thought of, or maybe just that one nuance that you never thought of. Many times, it's one thing that hinders all the results, and you don't even realize it. I'll give you one example. In fact, I'll give you 2 examples. When I was trying to lose weight, one thing I never thought of was the importance of sleep in the entire equation of losing weight. And the fact that I had a lack of sleep, it was affecting me losing weight. And then on the other hand, right, another nuance, for example, in landing sales roles for me was, for example, I wasn't doing custom resumes for each role that I was applying for. That's something that I thought I need to be doing that. But then I realized that's not good. That's actually hindering my results. So someone taught me something that I thought, hey, this is a great nuance. I need to make a custom resume for every single role that I'm applying to. But I realized that was actually hurting my results, because you should have one consistent resume. Why do you need a different resume for different roles? And people will always come to me and say, no, that's not true. Well, here's the thing. I made one resume, I have one resume, and I usually land a role within 2 to 4 weeks when I start actively looking for sales roles. I don't stay, jobless for more than 2 to 4 weeks. How many people can say that's the case for them? Again, many times it's the nuances that matter, and those things are hindering your performance. So, the way to cure shiny object syndrome: step one, commit to doing something for a good sample size of time where you actually give yourself a fair chance at that thing. Step one. Step two, after you finished that time period, ask yourself, what results did I see? And am I doing something wrong, which is actually hindering my performance? Because you might have seen a small amount of results, like I saw a small amount of results when I went to the gym for 90 days straight. But then there were aspects that I was overlooking completely that were actually hindering my results. Same way when I was looking for jobs. I asked myself, what's actually hindering my performance in terms of landing a job? And I realized it's the fact that I sit down and I make a custom resume for every role. That's actually a bad thing. It was actually doing me more harm than it was doing me good. But everybody around me was saying that I should do it, I should do it, I should do it. But that's the big question. Again, I'm getting a call. But that's the big question, right? It's, you know, what's hindering your performance. Now that you figured out what's hindering your performance, now you can make the right adjustments and make the right assessment. Or maybe you're doing everything right, but you don't know that until you don't speak to a professional. So speak to a professional in that field, and then once you realize it, then you move on. I keep getting a call, but that's basically that. That's it for this video, guys. Commit to something, check the results, and then adjust accordingly and make a decision accordingly. I'll talk to you in the next one.